Looks like we do have. So Cressica, are you there?
Yep.
Okay. There you are. Hi. So Holly, you're here. Yeah,
I'm here.
Yeah. Trevor. Yeah.
Here.
Bill.
Here.
Me, Kathy.
Here.
So that is, 6, so we have a quorum. It's good. So from the last meeting, we have notes from the June meeting. We did not have a quorum, so it doesn't count as an official business meeting, but we did meet and discuss a number of things. But we do need to approve the May minutes.
Oh, goodness.
For those who
I
are
didn't
here.
look at those.
Yeah, Chris, well, Carrie provided them there.
I can make more copies if needed, but here's my copy.
Thank you, I'll just scan it quickly.
I don't need it back.
All right.
So, any questions or concerns about the May minutes?
Nope.
Just a little spelling.
Oh, I do read these.
Just a fellow update.
Yeah.
The student we're working with, his name is spelled Dillon, not the typical Dylan spelling. Just so you know. But
Okay. I will fix that, thank you.
Yeah, I read these a month ago.
Okay, motion to approve with the edit
So
as
moved.
suggested.
Seconded.
Okay. Cressica? Favor?
Yes.
Holly?
yes.
Trevor?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. Kathy?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's approved. So what I wanted to do this meeting was go through our usual updates, and then I wanted as much time as we could put to sort of a general discussion about plans. I think this will be we're not gonna resolve, decide on everything today. I think this is discussed some last time and will be an ongoing discussion. So hopefully some of these we can finish up. So the fire station.
So I'm ill prepared to do any kind of an update, but fortunately, there's not much to say that I haven't already said. So the schedule is for the 15th of August. The down payment has already been done. Someone has come from Revision to Evergreen to check out the situation. Both Mert and Fred have been informed and are in agreement with what the plan is supposed to be.
Okay,
There we are.
sounds good. And the EV chargers.
Okay, so I talked to, OptConnect, and they confirmed that their, contract is year to year. So, they would not, although they were very positive, they would not say if the fee would go up or not. They just said, we don't anticipate it.
Yeah.
Whereas Nova Charge, even though they're more expensive, they give you a 4-year service plan. So, it's, with that, taking that into consideration, they're both about the same price.
Yeah. Does anybody have any opinion about the two companies? It's Nova Charge and OptConnect. OptConnect is what's at the health center. I mean,
Yeah,
what we
only
said-
what Kreska said last time, that OptConnect has the larger network, and that probably, I mean, seems like a positive to me.
and that is the,
We just don't have a guarantee that the service plan would be the same amount from year to year.
right,
Right, but in fact,
I think that allows us to change.
Yeah.
It's not satisfactory.
that's a point of flexibility, really.
I thought because we have now 2 stations on the island under the same company, they might be more inclined to give us better service.
right.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? So, motion to approve,
OptConnect
okay,
at,
Second.
So this will be just like, submitting a proposal to the select board, or do we actually have like power of the
I think
Can we
have
enter
a-
into a contract without Connect directly without any consultation from the
That's
select
what the
board?
answer to.
I think we can go ahead, yes, because they've approved the project
All right.
and it's within what we had budgeted for it.
Just wanna make sure what we're approved.
And this has been a sort of a long time, in the works, so. Okay, so we have a motion, second,
I seconded.
okay. Okay, Jessica, the motion is to approve Up Connect.
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Trevor,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
me, yeah, yes, Kathy?
Yes,
Okay. Okay, so.
I will get in touch with them tomorrow and let them know that we are moving forward.
Alright, so the ground array, for the health center. Been in touch with the previous consultant that we had that wasn't really responding to my emails. Finally responded and said, oh, she's been moved to another office and now somebody else is in charge, and that person. Gave a long reply basically saying, well, there was no real. Certainty. He said he didn't think it looked very good for getting a permit in time to get this done within the time window you need for the, solar credits. He also wanted to sort of reevaluate the Redlands, which Jessica, you thought was not worthwhile since we've done it previously. What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts? Yeah, so we had the wetlands reevaluated with the goal of moving the boundary. And so we've had them evaluated twice by Gartley and Dorsey, and they're suggesting we have it evaluated a third time. So it just doesn't seem reasonable that we'd expect a different outcome. It's expensive and it seems like, and also because that probably wouldn't give us much more space for the array. We basically, we need a lot more space than moving the wetland boundary would enable. So we need to come up with a different strategy at this point. Basically, this means we have to explore the alternative options. So that's what I'm starting to do, but I haven't finished the analysis yet.
So I haven't thought about this really at all until this came up right now. So this is off the top of my head. But it seems to me that what's really important is to reduce the demand charge in the building to the extent that we can. And that involves, we can always put an array someplace else, and that's a good plan for the longer term. But it seems we really need to stay close to the building so that we can reduce the demand charge, though it won't help in the winter at night. So it seems to me that what if we were to lay out in our minds or on paper the ideal array that we want and plan that down the road, if things get better, we can expand an existing array and put the array that we can in now in the part that is not wetlands and get it going behind the meter in a way that it can be expanded down the road when that opportunity comes back. So just, there you go. I mean, I don't know how smart or how practical that is, but there's a thought.
I mean, that's basically what we'll have to do, but at the same time, we need to use the funding for the array. So
Right.
we need to put in another array somewhere. So
Yeah.
that's what we're going to have to explore is where to
And
put the other array.
And
And that's just something we need to discuss again separately. I almost have the analysis done. We're almost ready to have those options available to decide upon. So
Okay.
we can discuss that.
Right. So the only other thing which is not on here, which I did want to mention, and we'll get into it a little bit more, the fuel oil task force. We had one meeting, which is basically Elizabeth, Ava, myself, and Tom Tudor. The other people who had expressed interest couldn't make it, and we talked about, one of the first priorities for that problem is to get the information out there to the people in the community that the delivery of gasoline to the island is a precarious thing. And you know, to include that in the summer informational meeting and perhaps also in an article for the August issue. And then have another meeting with, you know, perhaps when more people can come, I mean, just to brainstorm ideas, so. Anyways, that's where that stands. So Elizabeth, go ahead.
Yeah, do we wanna go over the Google Drive stuff now? Is that a good time? Is that,
Yeah,
I guess it's right there,
yeah,
okay,
that's fine.
let's. I'll just talk first and then we'll do Google Drive. Okay, hi, so, a lot of things have happened this month. Most recently, on Friday, I met with Dylan Allen and we discussed his summer work, volunteer work with Energy Committee. He's gonna start by doing a quasi energy audit survey of his house, mostly on the survey side, looking at things like what type of heating system, they use different residential scale things. A lot of it is very similar to what we had in the survey that I presented on in February. It's a lot of the same questions, like energy coaching type resources. So if you're curious about that, I can share that with you. But the big thing is he was really interested in doing a presentation at the end of the summer to kind of share what he's learned. And we were thinking of doing that at the community center on August 14th, and Candace has cleared that date. But I was thinking, what if at the next meeting, which I'm assuming would be August 11th, that's the second Tuesday in August, he could do a little test run, and then also everybody gets to hear from him what he did over the summer for the committee. Would that
Sure.
be possible? How do we feel about that?
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Great.
I'd like to hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm gonna be gone that time.
Yeah.
The community center presentation, is that gonna be like just a open event or?
Yeah, we're thinking open, but probably just in that conference room, so he can do slides if he wants to, and show like maybe some graphs or some photos and things.
Okay,
But yeah, have it be an open event, for whoever is interested.
okay.
But yeah, if that sounds okay.
Would we wanna just put that together with like a larger informational meeting? There's the other summer
We're
information.
gonna get the
meeting.
summer informational meeting on July 30th.
Okay.
It may not be ready by then.
I don't
And that's
think-
sort of more,
Yeah.
this may be more granular than we. would
Yeah, it's more
need
just for
that.
him to have, but it would be great, I mean, we can talk about this. I'm going to talk about some other outreach ideas, like having some brochures or something to kind of help people stay engaged with the Energy Committee or
Yeah.
like our work in general would be cool. Yeah, okay, so that's that. And then, yeah, so let's jump to engagement. So with the farmer's market, Harry and I slated July 23rd, 27th. No, sorry, what's that on this? July? Yeah, 23rd, Thursday. And August 30th as days that we can table. August 30th, no, it's August 27th, sorry, but anyway.
July
those days,
30th, I thought
Yeah,
it was.
I'm sorry, my calendar is just all messed up, but so those days for tabling, and I was talking to Sky, who a lot of us have interacted with, she's one of my advisors at Allen Institute, about some ideas for engagement.
Yeah.
And she was thinking like, especially since this is your chance to engage with people who aren't always here, and like, it might be weird to ask about things like houses and like surveys when that might feel like, oh, I shouldn't engage with that because I'm only here visiting or just here for the farmer's market. It could be nice to put together some little graphic or thing of like, what is an energy committee, and
Yeah.
showing what, kind of showcasing what we do in like a little half pager, and maybe even like a Q&A or suggestion box of things that people would be interested in that's anonymous. They can feel like they're participating without feeling like obligated to do more. Which personally, I really like those ideas, and I'd be happy to put together a draft for the next couple weeks, and send to everybody. But yeah, how do we feel about that?
I think that's reasonable. I don't think, I mean, you don't have to push it, but I think having that, you know, questionnaire that you put together, just as well, if you're interested, fill this in, you know, you don't have to be in your face about it.
Yeah. I just worry because that has like 50 questions.
Oh.
So I don't know, like maybe one from each section or something. Like,
Something shorter.
yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, okay, maybe.
I have a comment
Yeah.
about the farmer's market approach. I think it's a good approach. I mean, the ICC is doing that and
Yeah,
I have nothing against that. But I think we have to remember that the people who go to the farmer's market are a subset of the population.
Yeah.
They're typically the people who are not working.
mhm,
There are people who go repeatedly and there are a lot of people who never go. So we already have a very select audience when we do that. Just.
But on the other hand, it's also an opportunity to connect with people. Right, it's not the kind of working people who are out doing construction work and doing lawns and that sort of thing, but one of the things we've been trying to do is to connect more with seasonal residents, and a lot of them do go.
Absolutely. They are preponderant, in fact.
Right,
yeah,
right.
okay, great. Thank you. And then. Okay, and then kind of jumping back into August and planning ahead a little bit into the next month. So for my second year of my fellowship, I've drafted a work plan, and the key goal deliverable of that work plan is to produce a draft of a community energy resilience plan. And I want to do that. So I want to have us all be involved in that. And I saw that that was in the project brainstorm sheet that Harriet sent out today.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that August could be a good like mapping session time, especially in light of seeing what Dylan collects in his next month here, kind of using that to contextualize things, seeing, I think especially today, we're gonna talk about, you know, what we've done so far and where we wanna go in the next year as a committee, kind of giving myself and us a month to sort of wrap up anything that we can as possible, and then start sort of on a fresh page of here's our main goals for a plan of what we want to do. And really, a CERP like this would be helpful for transitioning our ETIP work out of a report into actionable steps so that we could get a microgrid feasibly developed on the island within the next 5 years or so. And we would, you know, outline that timeline. So would we feel okay about dedicating more than my allotted time for like a brainstorming session and discussion that I would facilitate in August? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
I
fine.
can
Yeah, we'll
send out
plan
any
on.
slides and have it against people. Awesome, thank you. And then Google Drive. I sent out a little Google Doc to everybody. I'm gonna screen share really quickly. It's like a 4 or 5 page document you can read at your leisure, but I think it's pretty straightforward. Holly got to test run it for us last time. And let's see. I want to communicate to you all how to understand and navigate. We have 2 drives that this group uses.
Yeah.
One is the committee drive and one is the energy hub drive. Everybody has access to both of those. But I think sometimes it can be hard to understand what goes where. So I have a Venn diagram for you to explain that. So the IEC, our committee drive, typically has documentation of different committee projects and work. There's things like contracts, bills, agreements, and things that the committee is involved in, like at the town municipal level. There's more content across broad categories that could be revisited to be reorganized if that's something somebody wants to take on. And it's a good place to find things like our 2021 ETIP work, different municipal CMP accounts, like the bills that have been uploaded, which is a lot of them if you want to look at the different accounts. My personal fellowship work is not housed there yet, but on the other hand, in the Energy Hub drive, that's more related to things like outreach data research, a lot of grant work is in there. You can find recent grant applications and ongoing outreach efforts on the Hub Drive. And that's also where the majority of my work is housed, if not in my personal drive, but then it'll eventually get uploaded there. And then I've laid out that path for where you can find my work in that like bottom right part there in the green bubble. And basically what I want to communicate is there's a lot in both of these drives, and it is overwhelming, and I'm comfortable with Google Drive and I get overwhelmed with it. So this is something that needs continued attention. This is something that we can continue collaborating on. I'm happy to take on some of it, but I'm not going to be here after next year. So it's really helpful for us to just start clicking around, exploring the files, see what makes sense, see what doesn't, and think about ways that organizing makes sense. I really want my fellowship work to live on, and that can't happen if it's not accessible to people. So like when I'm writing the plan and drafts and all this stuff like that, it's gonna be in the Hub Drive. I think we just made a folder for that.
When you're doing a new document, are you starting a new document on Google? I mean, if you start a new document on Word, how do you then put it into there?
Yeah.
Just drop it in.
You just,
Meaning what?
Just upload it.
Yeah, you can just drag and drop.
okay,
If you can either convert it to the Google Docs format or leave it as a Word document.
yeah, like if you see in that picture of the top where it says new, right under the Drive logo.
Yeah.
You could click that, I mean, I can't right now, because it's just the doc, but it'll say like file upload or something like that, and then you could just put in that Word doc, so it goes right in the Google Drive.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Do we want to make this more accessible with like just a website or?
We do have the Energy Hub website, what do you mean by more?
Accessible to whom?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, what is
Yeah.
our objective with these type of things? Like organizing the information, making it accessible either to community members, public members, other things. Like you obviously want your work to live on.
Yeah.
So who would you like to see it?
yeah, and I think that with these drives, it's important, I personally think it's important that it stays closed to this group, because there's a lot of ongoing work in there, things that aren't final, and that would look kind of sloppy to put out to everybody, but also just not really complete. And you don't want people to grab something and then run away with the story with it and say like, oh, Energy Committee does all this stuff,
Yeah.
and maybe that's not the
Yeah.
case. But it should be accessible when we have the more polished research and reports to, like, I would love if everybody could read the ETIP report. I don't personally know if that's published. Like, I know that's publicly available, but I don't know where I'd find that on the town website. It might be on our Energy Committee page, but yeah, like, that's a good example.
On my computer.
Yeah, it's on your computer, it's online.
Yeah, that's,
On that note,
yeah.
if there's anything you guys want on the town website page, send it to me.
Okay,
I'll put it there. I don't think the UTIP report is.
yeah, okay. It might be on the Osbro Energy Hub site, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, so what these pages go through is steps for how to save our Google Drives onto your like browser, so that they're starred and just right there every time that you wanna look at something. Which is the way that I organize myself, especially if you're new to Google Drive, that's probably the easiest way. That's what we did last time. And yeah, so these are all the steps. I think they're pretty straightforward if you read it, so I don't want to waste anybody's time, but also reach out to me anytime and I'll help you with this. And then it just kind of goes through where I'm usually frequenting and like what I tend to look at. But obviously, I don't do every single project. I work on specific things. So I want that to be transparency for you all of where you can find what I'm working on.
Elizabeth, did you say that you sent us this?
I did.
But that must have been a month and a half or 2 months ago.
No, I sent it like last week, unless it didn't.
Last week. I didn't.
Didn't get it? Okay.
I was,
You wanna
well,
re-
I was in the midst of plots.
You wanna resend it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it escaped my
I'm so
attention.
sorry. Okay, great.
Okay.
Well, then I'll send it.
I would have saved it and reviewed it if I
Yeah.
had noticed it, so
Okay,
thanks.
okay, cool.
So,
So I will leave it there.
Wait, I do have a sort of a comment, question,
Yeah.
response to Trevor. I do think that there is a cluster of information that really should be clearly available to the community. Documents that we've done, summaries of, things we presented. And that was one of the reasons why a long time ago, we started the Google Drive.
Yeah.
The problem is that the Google Drive has been populated by a variety of logics and it is really, really dense with information. So it's not the manipulative tools that's the problem. The problem is recreating the logic to find in that massive material the thing you need when you need it, so it doesn't take you a week to find it. That's been the problem.
Yeah, what I'm saying is we need a better presentation layer.
Absolutely. And in fact, that's how the website was supposed to start about 5 years ago. And the
So-
problem was that we couldn't get control over the website
So,
to shape it ourselves.
Let me back up here. I'm just adding this to the list of things we need to do and, you know, and we can figure out how we're gonna fit that in.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Organizing and presenting information.
Yeah, I'll say, I had been maintaining the website until I stopped working on the prize directly. So anybody who wants to update the website, you can make that content and I can easily put it on the website. For example, there is a link to the ETIP report through the news blog on the website. And we can put whatever other information we want up there. It's just a matter of, I don't have time to make that content, but it's entirely possible to put it on the website in whatever format you want. Somebody just has to generate that content.
This is an organizational task, not an uploading task.
Right, just, anything else,
So how
Elizabeth?
how can we like present as an organization if we're not individually contributing to uploads? I think that it's iterative and we have to keep working ahead with it.
There's an easy answer to that. We upload individually to a variety of sites where we're working, then we coordinate from there what goes out to the public in an organized, clear way.
So we just add like website updates to like the monthly agenda?
I don't know, I can't answer yes or no to that, I don't have that in my head, but there has to be a systematic way to present the schema of what we're doing to people in a coherent, easily targetable way. And keep the breadth of the information and the depth of the information, in a different organization, so we can access it when we need it.
All our minutes are public and around the town
Yeah,
website,
right.
but that's sort of dense and. Anything else? Elizabeth, anything else that you have?
One thing as we start, with the energy resilience plan, I'm in the planning the plan process. And especially once we have our August meeting, there'll be a lot more gaps filled, but something I'm really interested in establishing from the get-go is continual conversation with the select board. And if anybody has feedback about past plans, how that's worked, there's no financial obligation that the town would be in for passing this plan. But I know that eventually it would go up to the select board to adopt, if I'm correct. So if we want to establish some sort of goal, like if I'm engaging with the select board regularly during public comment or something like that, if there's any feedback you have about that now, I would love it. Or we can wait till August.
We have an ad hoc member, that's the perfect conduit to start with.
Yeah.
So Peter,
Holly.
so why isn't Peter our?
Well, Peter has been, but
Ex
now since
officio.
Holly was elected to the select board, she's become our,
Oh, okay,
yes.
Ex officio.
Yeah.
Oh, you are new
And-
member.
Yes, and I'm a little bit confused. I'm not sure whether Holly can be a voting member and the ex officio at the same time.
Yeah, that's gotta be worked out.
Okay. Well, I think Peter was happy to have you be just.
I mean, I've been here for years.
Yeah.
So
So-
I'm more acquainted with what we've been
Exactly.
doing than Peter.
Right, so. Do you wanna just check with Janet if there's any
Yeah.
issue? I don't really understand why there would be an issue, but there are other examples of select board members who are on committees. And serving sort of that dual role,
The
yeah,
harbor master.
Yeah,
The population here is too small to
Yeah.
avoid that.
Are they voting members on those committees, Carrie? Do you know?
yes.
Some committees have it set up where they are voting members and other committees not. And the Energy Committee has been,
Well, committees that don't have an elected select board as a member of the committee have it. A member of the select board who is the assigned liaison.
Okay. Yeah, so I think you should stay a voting member.
but I think we should check with Janet.
Yeah. We
Okay,
have to talk to the attorney.
Yeah, that's it. You really have fun.
It's not bad.
so
I
that's.
know it's not the answer you wanted.
I'm just trying to save the town money. I don't think we need the billable hour.
Dollar sign.
We need to move on. Need to move on.
Is there any feedback for my question though about?
Yeah.
Keeping the select board in communication, like how I should go about that? Should I ask Janet?
Let's
No,
let Holly decide.
Okay, great. I didn't hear.
I don't see any reason why you couldn't, I don't think you have to go, certainly don't have to go to every meeting,
Yeah.
but, you know, maybe.
I have to go to every.
Maybe, you know, you can decide on, you know, how frequently or when you think you have an update that's worthy of
Well, I
presentation.
think it's terrific that you're
Yeah.
doing both
Yeah,
and that we don't lose you.
yeah. Okay, so the ETIP, the only thing I did want to mention on this coming Thursday at 11, they are doing what they call a 101 on wind power, just kind of a presentation about now. We had one on batteries and they have to go to through a process to make it publicly available. It has to go through their communications committee or whatever. They said that will be available soon for anybody who was interested, who didn't get to see it, but there will be, you should get we should be sharing the link to that with everybody who's interested. The grant committee, I don't think there's too much to say other than at our discussion in June at our non-meeting, we talked about, I brought up the issue of, well, if we're gonna be applying for a grant that would allow us to help individual homeowners, which is something everybody here said they would like to be able to do, what the legal constraints are on that. And everybody here said, well, other communities do it. And I had spoken to Kathy afterwards, who was planning to look into that. So,
I am, and I have a vehicle, which I signed up for, which is gonna be a meeting.
Yeah.
That involves municipalities,
yeah,
and I plan to raise that question at that meeting.
okay,
It hasn't occurred yet.
yeah, so more to come on that.
See if I can get some help.
So the summer informational meeting, this is the annual meeting held by the select board. And they invite various committee members to update the community, and this is really aimed at, you know, summer residents. I mean, it's for everybody, but it's particularly aimed to bring summer residents up to date on various things that are going on the island. So Elizabeth and I talked about this a little bit. I thought I would do just sort of a general update about what the committee's doing. Elizabeth was gonna talk a little bit about ETIP and, you know, what she's been doing and is planning to do. We can do, Michael Hutchinson's gonna be doing, audio visual. So I was told to contact him if we have any slides we wanna show. And I think we only have like 5 minutes and it's not like a big presentation. So, yeah,
I think it's premature. I think I'd like to plan towards next summer informational meeting about having a more organized approach to energy audits and energy coaching that could be made available to the summer community. I think it's too unformed at this point.
right,
So, but yeah,
right.
next summer we'll have the speaker on the forum series. It'd all come together better next summer.
Okay. I was also gonna mention, Tom Tudor felt this was important to mention the gasoline, the fuel oil issue.
I meant to ask when that came up earlier, what is going to be our goal in mention this? Do we have, so therefore, we should, I mean, what are we
No, I
going
mean,
to
the
say as
goal
a public?
is to let people know on the island that they cannot count on having ready gasoline available indefinitely.
So that's with the one hand. On the other hand, do we say
We're
there
not
is an
promo-
electric option?
We don't have well, eventually, yes, and, let's see how much stuff I have to put in there, that may go in the article. Yes, that was the other thing, was to get information, to tell people, not like we're pushing people to buy electric vehicles, but if you happen to be interested in that, there are income graduated, rebates available
Mhm.
that are income based in Maine. As well as low, connect people with more information about that. But you're right, that's part of it. But we also don't want to just make people think, there's a fair number of people who are not interested in electric vehicles.
No, I
We
understand,
don't wanna
but,
make them feel like they're being bullied.
but the thrust of our work has been to gradually increase the awareness of and move the committee toward
Yeah.
Electrification. And so if you say fuel oil is going to become more expensive, more unreliable and harder to get,
Yeah,
then, I mean, it's almost de facto turn to an alternative.
right. There is an alternative, and if you don't wanna do that, you might need to be, but right now, I mean, the island market makes a profit on fuel oil, it's not a huge amount. And so they're motivated to keep their current system going as long as possible,
Yeah, sure.
but they cannot replace the pump or the tank or the lines. They cannot get a permit to do that without updating the entire system, and the cost of doing that is several $100,000, and it's just simply not
Right.
economically.
So it could break at any minute. That's the point. It could
Yeah.
break any time.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what,
Now, Holly, do you know, I was gonna look up and I haven't done it yet. What are the if people want to bring gasoline in
they can do 2 5-gallon containers.
Yeah.
5 gallon, that's I was gonna look up what that is.
Now, I know people have cheated and done 3,
Right,
but they're not allowed according to DOT.
okay. I mean, that at least people can get gasoline for their lawnmowers and stuff like that way.
I have a question, I know of that regulation, okay, but I see people also who have tanks in the back of their truck,
Those are diesel,
only diesel.
Diesel is different
yeah.
because it's less explosive.
Okay, just curious, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, if anybody else would like to say something at the summer informational meeting, or wants to add, I may, see if I can circulate a draft or a summary of what I want them to say before
Well, you can ask any of us too, if you want.
Okay. So, before we get around to the last part, I wanted to do, I forgot to put it on the agenda, but just a quick vote. Excuse me, for the Waldo County.
Waldo County Climate Action Coalition, WCAC, okay, of which co-chair, and it seems appropriate for us to be participants since I'm co-chair of the thing at the moment, so. And associated with that is dues. So all participating members of the coalition are asked to pay dues so that there is a budget with which to do things like advertising and so on for
What are the dues?
$50 a year.
Oh, that's doable.
Yeah. So I don't see any reason why we can't use our funds to do that. Large amount.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah.
So we have a
We
motion.
spend more on advertising.
Yeah. Right. So motion to,
I so move.
I'll second it.
okay, in favor of $50 for membership in WCAG, Brassica.
I missed, is this coming from the town budget? Cause I think it can.
Yeah, I think we could take it from that.
Okay, yeah, if it's from the town budget, yes.
Okay, Holly,
Same.
Eva,
Yes.
Trevor.
Wait, just to clarify, this is $50 for like the energy committee as a whole to be a dues paying member or per person?
I don't know if it's for Islesboro, the land of Islesboro, the people of Islesboro, but somehow it is representative of Islesboro as a participating component to the coalition.
Okay,
And I don't have any better definition than that.
and if it's, yeah, it's just one $50 dues
A year.
thing, then yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's good that it be identified that it's the energy committee that's a
Yeah.
member.
I mean, all the other participating organizations are indeed organizations with defined charters, defined groups. We're the only group that is really representing an island population on behalf of a town government.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, all right, so we have about 20 minutes, and again, I don't expect us to get through all of this. And I circulated and we printed out here also a list, Bill put, and I put together a list of things that are ongoing as well as possible projects that we may want to take on. And I wanted, first of all, to I forgot to put the fuel oil thing on here, and I also organizing the website and Google Drives.
Well, this is editable.
Yeah.
Right, well, no, that's it, the purpose of it is, does anybody have, and then to try and, identify the highest priorities, we know what a lot of them are, and then to sort of identify, okay, what are we gonna do first? What are we gonna do in the next 6 months? And who's gonna do what? And we may not get to it all today, we'll continue it at our next meeting. Does anyone have anything they want to add to the list? Okay,
Pretty long list.
it is long. And some of it, like I said, is stuff we are doing. So I put on top the solar arrays. I mean, that's what when we did our budget discussion, that's what we identified as what we should really be working on. We have both the health center that we just talked about, as well as we had talked about, and we have funding for putting some additional arrays on the salt shed, but we need to begin salt shed and was it the transfer station?
The transfer station doesn't have a lot of roof
Yeah.
space, but it's the new fire station, which
Oh, the fire station.
has a reasonable
Yeah,
orientation. I sent out some diagrams about this
Yeah.
about 4 months ago.
yeah. So I guess we need to identify who's gonna work on this project. Kreska, do you wanna?
Yeah, I am working on it, yep.
Yeah. So Kreska, who else is interested in working on this? Okay, Trevor. Bill?
What?
Yeah, you're interested in.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry, which project is this?
This is the
Number
solar arrays.
Oh,
Finding the place for the solar arrays.
Health
Finding
center and the
people.
salt shed
Yeah.
slash transfer station
Right.
slash fire station slash.
So, the next one on here is something that's been sort of ongoing. And I mean, it sort of fits in with some of what we were just talking about in terms of getting some of our information together and identifying what we wanna, kind of present to the public in terms of a summary. But, what's all the data on, I know Elizabeth, you've worked on some of this, right? Yeah,
I think this is super important. At any moment, we could be faced with a question to which we need to have a coherent and reasonable answer, and we don't have just those answers at the moment because the data are complex and they've not been reduced to a form in which they can be made to make sense to the public at large. So I think this is a compelling need that could stare us in the face at almost any moment.
And the question would be, what has the Energy Committee done to reduce costs for town buildings?
That we already know. We know what we've done. What we
Okay.
don't know is the balance sheet, how it's
Okay.
working out.
The impact.
And we will need cost projections and
Gotcha.
things like this in order to
That- I
say
meant that
by
you've
X
done-
and
Yeah.
X, Y year, we're going to have paid off this,
Yeah.
this, and that, yeah. This all has to be
Seems to me
coherent.
this sort of ties in with the website, Google Drive.
It ties in with the next thing, of like tightening up usage for electrical buildings is like being able to see the delta, requires the historical analysis.
Well, that's what we've done. I mean, that's been our whole history heretofore, really. And we have all the data. We have almost all the trends, but we haven't packaged them in a way that's consumable by anybody in the world.
So it seems to me this ties in with the organizing the website and the Google Drive. It's putting a lot of the information, some of the information we have into a public facing.
Yeah, I like working on that.
Yeah, and I'm, whether I like it or not, I'm right in the middle of that.
So Trevor,
So
Bill,
you got a work group.
And Elizabeth is working on the the town data analysis, and
Yes,
we
I
are
have
working
already
towards that.
On
So,
this one, so, yes.
so like that,
I know Elizabeth, I didn't,
she's
you know.
handling it.
but I know that you're working on it. It's just one of the things that we hear, but I think it sort of,
But it could be good to have a like group sit down, sort of refresh and get,
yeah.
'cause, yeah, I feel like we get into conversation and like, we know what we know, and I don't, it's really broad to say, but like, yeah, we're just looking at the same numbers over and over, and yeah, it makes sense on a spreadsheet when you're looking at that spreadsheet all the time.
Okay, so
But-
energy data presentation working group?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Write that down.
To
Woven
make
in
it-
with the history of the community and what it's accomplished and.
Yeah, to the average,
Where we stand.
that's what.
Okay.
Like doing a technical manual.
Okay. So, I think in terms of priority, I think there's a sense consensus that that's an important thing, which again, I know Elizabeth, I didn't want to put you on the spot here, I or to, I just wanted to have it on there. So the next one is, working with, is the town buildings to work with the staff here to help them to understand the importance of avoiding the demand charges, to see if there's ways that they can alter behavior, how they're using the heat pumps and other equipment. And I lumped this together with something else that Bill had brought up, which was that Mark Durkee has now been hired as the building maintenance manager for the town. So at some point, we need to make sure he has all the information he needs about all the equipment we've installed.
Did you just say that Merck's gonna be the building?
He's been hired to
Yeah.
do that.
Great.
Heretofore, we've been doing this as issues have come up.
Right.
Dealt with them. But now there's someone who should be looking forward to these and avoiding the problems that
Right.
might come up.
Okay. So we mentioned again, the energy coaching and the outreach. I sort of lumped coaching, outreach, community events and communication kind of together into one group. Again, Elizabeth has been working on a lot of this along with other people.
Well, I plan to have, within 6 months, a sort of coherent plan for moving forward with that.
Okay,
Cressica's available, Elizabeth's available. So yeah,
and we have, Elizabeth's work with Dylan ongoing too.
Yeah, that'll be really helpful to sort of like trial run what we're.
Yeah. I put grant applications on here. We don't have anything current. I haven't checked on the Island Institute one, if that's been announced yet.
That should have been, yeah. I bet that's up, yeah.
Did the grant go in for the deadline? I
That
assume
one
it did
did go in, the community action grant, when
Yeah,
we
went
haven't
in.
heard yet.
by deadline.
Okay. And, you know, here are other things. We have the health center, the health center, the new building committee is working on the issues with the health center, heat loss and stuff like that. We've been in communication with them and, you know, we'll kind of follow their lead in terms of where they want get the help from the committee. But that's a pretty important one, because of the very high demand, yeah.
Yeah, and some of these have an immediacy to them that others don't, like developing this long-term sustainability project can take months. Bit by bit, parts of it can come into place, but some of these have to be done, or really should be done, before the next heating system kicks in. Because we've already paid a whopping amount of money for some of the deficits in this past year.
I'll check with Lauren on, you know. Bill has met a couple times with Chris, the medical director, and there's been some communication back and forth with the architect who wanted to see all the information on the electric. Unfortunately, the builder has gone out of business. So, there's not.
Do you know high energy bills?
What?
Do you know high energy bills?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Good one, John.
Let's see, the other things on the list here are comprehensive energy plan, microgrid development.
What about, did you skip over 6 or did you say something?
Well, I was kind of lumping that in together with the possibility of batteries. These are sort of longer term
Right.
things to work on. Working with the school board, we actually do have done some work on that. Bill had contacted them for some information on their, and got information from them on their energy usage. I was in contact with Zach Conover, the chair of the school committee, who suggested, well, we should meet with their facilities manager again.
That'll be in August.
Right, we will have to decide where this fits in kind of our overall scheme of priorities. Number 11 is something that Dick DeGrasse had volunteered to do for us a couple of years ago now. He said he had lots of information, but he never did it. It was to, and it was also not just solar companies at that time, it was listed other providers. Now, we cannot make a recommendation for specific companies, but we could try to get information together for community members who get all these things in the mail and don't really know what to think about it.
I think we could group that under 4 with the energy coaching and outreach. This is just information to supply.
Yeah,
So for example, Boardman
Yeah, I
is
think-
doing that right now.
Yeah.
That's how they're paying their bills.
Having listened to an hour discussion about this today in the NEAP meeting, it's complicated. Wouldn't you say, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I was on that.
Yeah, and Cressica, we were all 3 of them in that meeting today. And, yeah, I think it should go under coaching, yada, yada.
okay,
Yeah, I think what you're getting at is, as a coach, you cannot become a technical expert. Like, there's a line that you cannot cross, otherwise you're endorsing a business, so like, you just have to be careful.
right.
But
just
we can navigate that.
Telling people what to look for,
Yeah,
you know,
right,
what this
and
means.
aligning it with their goals for their space,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry.
Evaluating approach to keeping town arrays free of snow, that's sort of a maintenance issue. That
Yeah, that sounds like
really
number
go
3.
with
What?
the snow.
Oh, yeah.
And actually tree trimming probably goes with that too.
Those are less immediate. I
Yeah,
mean, well, the snow, that's every year. The
Yeah.
trees grow
right.
We have time.
Group buys for expensive equipment, that's something we've talked about, it's just kind of on there as a possibility. Possible town owner, this is sort of longer term things we might consider, think about. Town ownership and maintenance of streetlights. Phase 3 service to the transfer station and sporting center, that's probably prohibitively expensive for us to take on as a project, but, that
But
might support microgrid
it
development.
might be possible to urge CMP to do that for us,
Right.
because if we can demonstrate that it's in their benefit to do this.
Right.
For the island population, for reduction of demand on the island and so on and so forth, then they might say, okay, we'll take that over, so.
I think,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't raise my hand, I just stood up.
I think that the real problem though is the cable.
The cable, yes,
Going across the bay.
Yeah.
Is, because we maxed it out. So to add phase 3 energy going up that high.
Maybe, but if we produce a lot more of our energy distributively on the island, then we'll actually take some of the burden off the cable.
So
Yeah,
that,
I mean, that
that
feels
needs
like
to be the,
something we need for like the long-term comprehensive energy plan.
yeah.
yeah,
So Just,
Yeah.
just put that as a bullet item.
No, I mean, specifically in our case, our own house, we don't take as much electricity through the cable because a lot of the electricity to run our house comes directly from the solar.
Right,
So,
but that means I see huge amounts of infrastructure coming over. And I don't know if we've got the energy to support it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a much bigger deal
Yeah.
than we think it is
Yeah, no,
right
this is,
now.
this is something that I think we need
Yep.
ETEPS to work on,
Hopefully
the
ETEP will
comprehensive
help
energy
us.
plan,
get a handle on that.
so.
I mean, swimming pools are just out. I mean, there's so many coming over. They're creating so many swimming pools and they're.
surrounded by an ocean, we need a small pool.
Exactly.
Why don't we have a public one?
I don't know.
Okay, just to sort of go back and summarize a little bit and sort of think about all this in terms of what we're working on in the next 6 months. Definitely the additional solar arrays, and we've identified a subgroup to work on that. And a subgroup to work on the
Data.
kind of data analysis. And we have a group working on coaching. So what do people see as being, and maybe that's enough for this month. I don't know about the rest of you, July and August for me are hard to get much of anything
Well,
done.
Bill identified the health center is a priority,
Yeah,
working with that building committee.
yeah,
I think working with the school, maybe merge as a real priority, but it's gonna depend upon the conversations we have in August.
all right, I mean, it seems like we have enough and then the fuel oil task force is another, one and, think that my impression is that that's gonna be right now mostly about disseminating information.
Yeah.
Both on, how much people can legally bring over. Plan ahead, plan for the fact that gasoline may not be readily available in the future. I don't know what people with big equipment that runs on gasoline. I guess
I
mostly
mean,
mostly
I think
diesel.
people are
I
already
was gonna say
doing
it's mostly diesel. I was thinking the big stuff like the excavators, that's
Yeah.
really diesel. Yeah,
So Holly, I wanted to ask you this, just came up from what Harry had said. Is there a limitation? Okay, so an individual person or an individual vehicle can bring over 2 containers. But is there a limitation on how many such containers total could be taken over on the ferry? Because I know the Coast Guard has some restrictions about what they do, what we do.
Yeah, it's per vehicle.
So in other words, you could have 200
5-gallon tanks on the car.
Well, you can't put 100 cars on.
No.
Yeah.
But, okay, so I exaggerated, but you can put 27 cars, so that's 54 5-gallon containers. That's a lot of gasoline, that's a big boom,
The cars already come with a certain amount of gasoline on them too.
but they are.
Not the
That is
electric
true.
one.
That just adds fuel to the problem. Anyways, there's no such
Especially an
discussion.
old dad when you give.
I like it.
I say that there is caveat. The captain does have the last word.
Cause I know they make a big deal about putting the truck on, you know, and you have to have space around the truck and stuff.
That's for fuel,
That's, yeah,
oil. But for gasoline, nobody can be on the ferry, but
They can make a separate ferry run.
yeah, like we did that today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Okay, so I think, you know, and I think that, you know, this, obviously, a lot of this will continue to be ongoing discussions. A fair amount of what we've talked about is fuel for Elizabeth's plan altogether. I think we have to be realistic about our bandwidth,
Especially in the summer.
especially in the summer.
It's just
Yeah,
crazy.
I'd like to thank you for leading us towards looking towards the next year and making a good plan.
Yeah.
It's a nice effort.
yeah, I didn't print out the, finances, because there really wasn't anything to add to it. I did sit down with Brian, and, you know, when I took our proposal to the select board, I told them directly that we were hoping to use what we didn't, I showed them that we had saved money this year, and that we wanted to use what we didn't spend this year toward the, solar arrays, and then we were asking for the $75,000 additional toward solar arrays, which was approved, so, I think it was 70, maybe it was 70,000,
That sounds familiar, yeah.
yeah,
Yep. Remember that?
and, we still have not I haven't heard about any new members being interested. I did ask Dan to put a notice in the paper that we were looking for somebody. So,
I asked, maybe I should tweak him again. I asked Scott DeGrasse if he would sort of troll for a working member from the sporting club catchment area, so to speak, and he said he would,
Oh.
but I don't know whether yeah. So I'll check back with him.
okay. All right,
In regards to the paper, so are you writing the article? Should I write something about an energy update, or are you writing the fuel oil article? Like, how do you want to divide what on the paper?
well, you and I could talk offline, if anybody wants to write,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I just wanted to check.
Yeah.
Great.
And, okay,
Thanks.
a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
Second,
Okay, Jessica,
Yes.
Ollie,
yes.
Ava,
Yes.
Trevor? Yes, Bill,
Yes.
me, yes. Yes,
yes.
next meeting is August 11th. Thank you, everybody.
I will be here next meeting.
Okay.
My daughter's 25th wedding anniversary.